Hello everyone, I'm Jenna Paulson, and I am taking you along with me on a painting journey today. So I have already started this painting, as you can see. It is actually, I would say maybe halfway done. So I am starting you in the middle, but I just am going to talk you through what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So first off, I've got my full painting set up over here. So I've got brushes, many brushes to choose from. I've got a water jar to keep dipping the brushes in as I'm going along, cleaning them off so I can change colors. I've got a palette over here. This is called an acrylizer palette, so it actually seals to keep the paint wet and fresh. So acrylic paint dries very fast, which can be a good thing if you're looking to, move quickly through a painting. But the drawback is that as you're working with the paint, it will dry out as you're working with it. So I actually have a little water misting bottle here, and I will continue to mist my paint as I go along, just to ensure it doesn't dry too quickly in my palette. Let's see, I also have paper towels. I keep paper towels in my hand as I'm working so that I can, as I'm rinsing off my brushes, I can dry them off and get some of that color out if I'm trying to switch colors. And also, the most important, coffee. I live on this stuff, so you will see me continuing to take sips as I go along. So this painting I started about 2 days ago. I took a snapshot of a tree outside and am actually working from dark to light, essentially. So I, forgive me as I pause while I think about putting the color down. I start by blocking out the basic shapes. So I started with this big tree trunk here and the larger, darker branches. And then laid in sort of the medium tones that you see kind of the smaller branches and the spaces in between. So as I go along, I am just adding more of those medium tones over here. This side of the painting is pretty much done. It's pretty close, and I'm working left to right. That is because I'm right-handed. So if I start this on this side and progress this way, then I'm not getting my hand in the wet paint that I just laid down, which would happen if I worked the other way. So there is a rhyme and reason to why I work in that certain direction. The work on this piece is slow and steady. It is not, you don't get a quick action-packed video like you do in some of the time-lapse videos that are so popular on Instagram these days. Yeah, this is about two days of work, just kind of brush strokes here and there. I participated in an art trail over the weekend, so I was set up painting as people were coming through and chatting with me. So a lot of off and on painting work throughout the weekend on this. actually set up in my home studio, which is a bedroom in my home that's converted into a studio space. So I've got everything I need in here, lots of extra canvases. This wall easel was custom built for me. I'm hoping to get another one day. So I can have two pieces going at once right next to each other. So what I'm working on is basically the light filtering through leaves and branches, but not literally, capturing the shape of leaves that we're used to seeing. It's more about the sensation of looking up into a tree and seeing that sunlight filtering through. So there's no exact science to the colors that I'm choosing or exactly where I'm putting them, but just, again, trying to work dark to light, filling in those kind of in-between spaces with those shades that you see coming through the leaves and branches. One of the most important things that you can do as you're painting is to step away and walk as far away from the painting as you can to make sure that what you're seeing up close in detailed view is still coming through when you're far away from the painting. When someone has this painting up in their home or their office environment, they're not going to be standing this close to it. They're going to be moving throughout the space. So you want to make sure that it reads well in terms of contrast and that the colors you're choosing are working to get your message across. So I'm going to step far away. And one thing I'm noticing is that I need to work more on this main tree trunk, right in the, not exactly in the middle, but a little bit off to the side. That, because of the light colors that I've chosen in there, I don't think it's coming through as well as I'd like it to. So I'm gonna work that out next when I feel like it. I'm gonna keep going on the foliage. Foliage? Foliage? I'm not sure. Fall foliage. You may be wondering what's with the bright orange background. So I'm slowly covering up the orange background. I always start with a very bold, bright color underpainting. It's sometimes called underpainting. And what that does is it provides a nice contrasting color to what you're working with. So I don't always start with orange, but because I do a lot of landscape painting, I use a lot of greens and blues, which are obviously present in the landscape. So because orange is opposite blue on the color wheel, it provides a very nice contrast and actually helps enrich those colors that you're putting down over the underpainting. It's also very easy to see which parts that you haven't gotten to yet. So it serves a couple of purposes. Going in for some more white to mix into my greens and blues that I've got on this little piece of my palette. I have several of these little trays, which are very helpful because they're easy to hold in your hand, much easier than holding this entire palette in your hand as you're working. Some of these lines right in this area were done very quickly, gesturally. They have kind of a messy look to them. And as I'm laying in the lighter color, I'm cutting into those edges and cleaning them up a bit. Bit more white. Some of these areas are almost getting a stained glass look to them, with the darker borders and the lighter colors coming through the center. Oops. I cut in a bit too far into this branch, so I'm going to need to bring the dark back a bit. Got a stray hair in the brush. If you notice that happening, remove it before it gets stuck into your painting. That's never good. It really kind of gets glued down if you don't notice it. So. I'm keeping this section right in here a bit more blue periwinkle. And then some of these other sections, like down in this lower corner, are brighter green. So trying to keep some distinctions in the groupings between the branches. I'm back for a bit more work on this piece. So as you can see, I have finished the trees and the branches. So a lot of blues and greens, some periwinkles, some purples, and this time I've brought you a bit closer to the action. So hopefully you are able to see. I have decided to go back into that trunk and work on some warmer tones. So some browns, some reds, some oranges within that color family. It's always helpful to decide before you start which side the light source is coming from. So obviously in landscapes, that's going to be the sun. So I've decided the sun is coming from this side of the painting, shining onto the tree trunk this way, which is why this side of the trunk is dark, and you're seeing those areas where the sun is hitting the trunk on the left side. Trying to keep the angles of the shapes a bit softer in the tree trunk. You know, softening any sharp corners that show up. Trying to keep things almost like you're looking at it a little bit out of focus. I do paint around the edges of each canvas. As you can see, all of these shapes and colors have extended around the edge, which is a nice touch in case anyone wants to hang it on their wall without a frame. It is ready to hang. So I am extending as much as I can to the bottom. I'll go back in and do the top and the bottom a bit later because it's difficult to keep flipping the canvas over as you're trying to create this main image. adding some little peaks of that pinkish brown just throughout the branches to bring that through a bit. Again, just giving the impression of looking up into a tree with the sunlight filtering through. Nothing exact, but just trying to create that sensation. All right, I'm gonna take another big step back all the way to the opposite corner of the room so that I can see how well this is reading from a distance. Yeah, I think that's working better to really bring out that trunk in contrast with all of the leaves and branches. Adding a bit more dimension to this spot. Okay. Well, again, I think that wraps it up. I may come back in here and add a little bit more detail, a little bit more highlights where the light is brightest on that trunk. But that is, for the most part, a finished painting. Thank you again for joining along. You can find me on Instagram at Jenna Paulsen Paintings. That's Paulsen Paintings. And online at jennapaulsen.com. Thank you so much. Bye.